What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. Today, we've got another live fantasy football mock draft for you back on Yahoo with a 10-team half PPR mock where we will be selecting 10th overall, the final pick. So should be pretty interesting. And while we wait for this thing to kick off, a quick reminder, if you guys enjoy, hit that like button, subscribe, give us a follow on Twitter at AllDayPigskin to continue interacting with us there. Let us hear it in the comments section. Do you agree, disagree with these picks, along with any other questions you guys might have? We will do our best to answer them all. But with that being said, this thing has officially begun, and we are waiting for that first overall pick to be made. And if it is chalk, it will likely be Justin Jefferson. That's been the trend this season. It's been pass catcher heavy at the top, and that has led to some pretty top-notch running backs falling to the latter parts of these early rounds, which I have tried my best to capitalize on, and we'll see if that will continue today. But in terms of the draft results, the first several picks have been made, and they are as follows. Let's bring up the draft board. Justin Jefferson, kind of as we alluded to, followed by Christian McCaffrey, Austin Eckler. So at least we have two of the first three picks being running back, but then afterwards the pass catching, trend very, very heavily continues with Jamar Chase, Cooper Kupp. Then you see Travis Kelce, Stephon Diggs, Tyreek Hill, and Jonathan Taylor. Interesting to see Jonathan Taylor with that selection. I think right now with his situation potentially upset at management, wanting to be traded, but that likely not happening. I do think we're going to see a dip in value, but here I am on the clock, and I'm taking my top guy in Bijan Robinson as far as the running back position is concerned. And here now we got a decision to make. Do we want to go balanced? Do we want to, potentially just grab two elite running backs? And man, the running back truther in me, I think, is going to come through here because I'm going Bijan Robinson. I'm going Nick Chubb. I think that is a tremendous duo as far as running backs are concerned, and I am not even going to think twice. If we went the other route, we could have gone with a CeeDee Lamb and a Devontae Adams. That's also very, formidable as far as duos are concerned, but I wanted to get my top two running backs. If I had to bet on how I would do things, I would probably say that come late August, early September, I'm more likely to do this than, go wide receiver. I think probably the safest approach is to go running back and then wide receiver, or wide receiver, then running back, just to be balanced. It's probably the best approach for those individuals that are newer to fantasy football, that don't have that many mock drafts under their belt, just because at the end of the day, it builds out a more balanced roster. There's not as big drop-offs, things like that from position to position. But hey, if you've got the experience, if you've got the confidence, and you've done your research, then I say go for it. Construct that roster in a way that you think you will optimize your success, and that's what I'm doing here. But looking at the selections after we went Bijan and Nick Chubb, we have Saquon Barkley followed by Derrick Henry. And then that slew of wide receivers that were still left available: A.J. Brown, CeeDee Lamb, Tony Pollard sandwiched in there, Devontae Adams, great value on CeeDee Lamb and Devontae Adams. Then Amon-Ra, Jalen Waddle, Ramondre Stevenson goes here. So right now, just kind of looking at this group of players, I think that, who are we going to be looking at in terms of possible values in the late third round? We're going to be right around this area here. T. Higgins, DK Metcalf, somewhere around there as far as wide receivers are concerned. Hopefully there's a little bit of a quarterback run, which I don't endorse this early on, and that'll help us out. But who knows? Anything is possible. So let's just take it pick by pick. I'm going to look at the wide receivers that are currently, listed. And right now we have got 4 picks until we make another selection. I'm getting kind of lucky. Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen have both been selected, but there's still 4 more picks, and there's no way that Garrett Wilson and Olave make it back to me. But hey, stranger things have happened. So far in this third round, Joe Mixon, Patrick Mahomes, Devonta Smith, Josh Jacobs, Josh Allen. So we're getting that latter group of running backs that weren't selected, that had kind of fallen, the ETN, the Breece Halls of the world, being scooped up here, especially by the teams, if you see it, that went pass catcher heavy in the first 2 rounds. So that benefits us. I mean, Garrett Wilson almost just dropped to, holy cow, the last pick in the third round. That would have been insane steal. But hey, I knew it wasn't all that realistic. I'm still very, very happy getting Chris Olave here. I'm not even overthinking it. And there is another wide receiver that I also do like. I'm going to go with Keenan Allen. And then, hey, maybe Calvin Ridley would get lucky, falls to us. I don't think he will. But, either way, we're kind of taking a gamble. I'm going to go with Keenan Allen here. I think both him and Calvin Ridley are going to have solid seasons. So, yeah, I went this approach, the first 2 rounds going running back, the next 2 rounds going wide receiver, and 2 wide receivers that are very PPR friendly with Olave and with Keenan Allen. So I like that for us. Now let's see what happens in this 5th round and afterwards, because right now, I gotta say, I like the way this thing has started out for us, and I think we can potentially find some hidden gems as far as pass catchers are concerned in the 5th, 6th round, so on and so forth. I'm not really worried about the running back position. Folks, I think you could argue, let's look at the draft results again, that I've got the top 2 running backs in this entire draft so far. Really, the only other combo here is Jonathan Taylor and Saquon Barkley, and we don't know what Jonathan Taylor is going to do. So kind of a big question mark. I like our situation. Bijan, Chubb, we went Chris Olave, Keenan Allen. So far so good. In this 4th round, after Keenan Allen, Najee Harris, T. Higgins, Mark Andrews, Jahmyr Gibbs, Aaron Jones. So yeah, so far so good. Nothing extremely crazy. The top tier quarterbacks all went in the 3rd round. That really benefited us. It allowed somebody like Chris Olave to fall to us. We were debating whether to go Keenan Allen or Calvin Ridley with the first pick in the 4th round. I went Keenan Allen. I kind of said I very highly doubt Ridley is going to drop to us, and that came to fruition because Calvin Ridley was picked here with the 6th selection, or I should say the 7th selection in the 4th round. And, it makes sense. I think his ADP could still even go up a little bit further. And, keep in mind, this is a 10-team league. So smaller league, yet Calvin Ridley still a middle of the 4th round selection. He's a very, very interesting candidate. Obviously, very, very talented. He has shown us what he can do before, and now joining Trevor Lawrence on an offense that's trending upwards. Very exciting for Calvin Ridley if you can get over, the suspension from the gambling last year, the fact that he's had so much time off, which to me, I'm not super worried about. But, here we went with Keenan Allen, Chris Olave, and I'm okay with that combo as well. Now, just kind of getting back to the big board, we see Alexander Mattison just went. I think that's way too early for Alexander Mattison, considering some of the other guys that were still available. Let's look at the other running backs. We have, but yeah, James Conner, Kenneth Walker, especially with Charbonnet hurt, indefinite length of time. So Kenneth Walker could be somebody that's a lot more valuable now, depending on what happens there. Rachaad White, a lot of people are kind of excited about. Alvin Kamara could be a stash later on. Let's see where Miles Sanders went. Miles Sanders went with the 2nd to last pick in the 4th round. So, okay, I guess I don't necessarily hate it, but I do think Alexander Mattison should have gone a little bit later. I wouldn't be shocked if, he's somebody that gets an additional running mate in the next couple of weeks to come. But so far, so good, right? Knock on wood, Mattison is going to be the top guy for the Minnesota Vikings at that running back position. 2 more picks until we have to make a selection. And here I'm looking at the players. It's our turn to draft. I'm probably going to go tight end with one of these picks, get that positional advantage in this 10-team league. And then maybe I go with a Justin Fields, extremely high rushing upside. So I'm going to go with George Kittle here. You could argue we could wait for maybe a Kyle Pitts, but I'm not sure how it's going to work out. So I'm just going to get the guaranteed selection here. Other guys that are tempting, DJ Moore for sure. James Conner as an additional depth piece at running back. You know what? Let's kind of risk it here. I will risk it. I'm gonna get the stack. I'm gonna go with James Conner. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get some more depth at the running back position. When healthy, I think he's somebody that is going to be very valuable. So let's see if that comes back to bite us. I have hit the pause button on the quarterback position. I was very, very close to selecting Justin Fields. Ultimately, I decided to wait, and let's see how that will go for us. The next top quarterback that's left is Trevor Lawrence. I don't think he'll make it back to us. So, there is that aspect of it. Here, when you're picking with the last pick overall, at these extremes, it's a situation where the value isn't always going to come to you as much as it would if you were somewhere in the middle of the round. So you're going to have to reach on players a little bit more so than you are used to. Keep that in mind. But look, I'm not mad with our selection of players with George Kittle and James Conner. Our starting roster has taken shape. We just need to add a quarterback to captain it, and then add some bench pieces, and we are good. DJ Moore just got selected. Good value there. So right now, if I could have things go my way, looking at what we're working with, I wouldn't mind somebody like obviously quarterback position, right? But Marquise Brown, I think, is a very good value pick. He's somebody that, even though I already have James Conner, it's going to be hard for me to ignore him if he's still there when I'm making a selection. I think he's massively undervalued, and I'm going to be going heavily after him if he is there. The top tight ends have all gone off the board. So looks like our gamble on George Kittle at least paid off, because there was a little bit of a run on the position in the 6th round. Dallas Goedert, Darren Waller, and Kyle Pitts were all selected, so I'm happy we at least got George Kittle. That was the right decision there. Now, let's see what happens here in this 7th round. How many people do we have to survive taking a quarterback? I would assume this person here would take a quarterback. I am correct in that assumption. There goes Trevor Lawrence. There was only 2 other people that hadn't drafted a quarterback yet. So, the odds were, if they didn't, Lawrence would fall to us. But since they were on auto pick, it kind of, that decision got made for them. Unfortunate, but up until now, even with an auto pick here or there, this has been a pretty realistic draft, I would say, in my book. So I like the way this is going. We're gonna be able to, find another quarterback. Don't worry. As far as quarterbacks are concerned, I also would not mind somebody like a Deshaun Watson, for example. Pair him up with Nick Chubb, get that little stack going. I think that he is going to take that next step forward. After he's had a full offseason now to kind of gel with the Browns. So I like that situation there. Other guys that I really like, Aaron Rodgers, Alvin Kamara just went. Okay, that's a nice little stash pick there. I like that. I endorse that. So let's see what happens here. Will we get sniped at the quarterback position? I don't think so. These 2 guys here selecting right before us already have quarterbacks. So, let's see what's left available here. I'm looking at running backs. I don't love what we have left to work with. All these guys are either, not necessarily top running back by committees, injury situations. So wide receiver, look, I promised you guys, if he's still there, I'm taking him. And I'm sticking to my word. Marquise Brown, welcome to the squad. Brendan Ayuk, kind of tempting. I'm not a Christian Watson believer personally, so I'm kind of out on him. let's kind of get the quarterback here and round out this team. So let's get Deshaun Watson. We've got that taken care of. And, we can kind of give this team a grade since we do have the starting roster taken care of. Deshaun Watson, I think, is still going to be a top 10 quarterback with really big upside. I really like our wide receivers. We were able to work it out where I think they all have really nice PPR upside. Olave, Keenan Allen, and Marquise Brown. I love our running backs in Bijan, Nick Chubb, and James Conner. And then George Kittle, a top 5 tight end. So I think we did a good job here. I would not be mad if this was my team. I've got 2 running backs that can absolutely carry the load here. We've got high upside wide receivers. We've got a proven quarterback. We've got a proven tight end. This is the formula that will get you to the playoffs. And then, championships are won during the waiver wire. You build yourself up for success throughout the draft, but then really it is during the waiver wire period where you set yourself up for success long term and turn that roster into a potential championship contender. So yeah, I mean, that's my take on it. I think this is a solid roster, B plus type of situation. Let me know your thoughts along with any other questions you guys might have. We will do our best to answer them all. If you enjoyed, hit that like button, subscribe, give us a follow on Twitter at alldaypigskin to continue interacting with us there. But in the meantime, we will see you guys in future videos.